This is your Pac-Man GP. Ladies and gentlemen, how have you been? So after a gap of about 13 to 14 days, I am back with a very exciting invention. And I believe today's invention will be very much interesting for pet owners. You know, there are a lot of people who have cats and dogs, especially cats and dogs, as a part of their family and pets. So today's invention would be very much relevant to such people who are owning pets, uh, especially such as cats and dogs. So without wasting any further time, I'm going to start off with my presentation. So today's invention is related to the title of today's invention is packaged pet food product and method of dispensing. And before I move on towards what is the problem which the inventor has identified in the prior art, I would like to urge all the viewers to please like, subscribe, and post their comments so that I can get a judgment of as to what is the understanding of the viewers, and I'll be more than happy to answer to all the comments if at all you have any kind of interesting questions. So please definitely post your comments and do subscribe to my channel so that we all can help make this channel a viral one. So as I mentioned, the title of today's invention is packaged pet food product and method of dispensing. So this invention has been patented in India. That means a patent has already been granted for this particular invention by the Indian Patent Office. Okay, I'll go to the credentials of this invention. Okay, so the patent number is 526445. And of course, all the credentials of this granted patent are available on the Indian Patent Office's database in PAS. So you can look up in the database, in the Indian Patent Office's database. And the Indian patent has been granted in the name of an American company called Blue Buffalo Enterprises Incorporated. Okay, so it is an American company, and this American company had filed for a patent application for this particular invention through the Patent Cooperation Treaty route. Okay, so that is one of the routes through which any inventor or any company from outside India can file a patent before the Indian Patent Office. So they have adopted the PCT route, or the Patent Cooperation Treaty route. Okay, and now the patent has been granted by the Indian Patent Office. So as I mentioned, the title of the invention is packaged pet food product and method of dispensing. Okay. So before I go to start narrating the invention, I would like to dwell into what are the problems or what are the drawbacks which the inventor has identified in the prior art. So far as pet food is concerned, and especially wet food for pets such as cats and dogs are concerned, they are usually manufactured and stored in tin cans. Okay. So when a pet owner, they buy such kind of a tin can which is having the wet food, first of all, the pet owner has to take the effort of opening the tin can. So that can be a little bit of a messy affair. So a specialized tin can owner tin can opener, I'm sorry, has to be used, has to be implemented. So that is the first drawback. The second drawback is after the can is opened, a spoon or some kind of a ladle has to be used by the pet owner to scoop out the wet food and then put it in the bowl in which the dog or the cat would eat that food. Now, after that scoop is placed in the dog bowl, or the bowl in which the pet would be consuming the wet food, it may so happen that the wet food has to be sort of broken down with the help of a little bit of a sharper kind of a implement, such as a butter knife, to break down the wet food so that it becomes easier for the pet to consume it, to lick it and consume it. So therefore, utensils or implements such as a spoon for scooping out the wet food, and then a butter knife for breaking the wet food in the bowl have to be used. And now these utensils cannot be used by the pet owner themselves. Okay, so sort of special utensils or dedicated utensils only for this purpose have to be stored by the pet owner. So these are some of the drawbacks which the inventor has identified in the prior art. Okay, and to overcome this drawback, the inventor has conceptualized a wet pet food or a pet wet food dispenser. So what is the construction? I'll go to the next slide. So here is a perspective view of the pet wet food dispenser. So here what we have, what are the main constructional features of this particular product? I'll speak about that. So there is a storage chamber at 71. We have the storage chamber, and inside this storage chamber, the wet food is stored. Okay, so a small section has been taken over here. I will urge you to follow my pointer. A small section of the storage chamber has been taken out here, and the dotted portion over here is the wet food at number 74. Now, this particular storage chamber is has a flexible container body. So it is very resilient. It can be sort of punctured, or it can be pressed with bare hands. Okay. On the top of this flexible container body, a dispenser head assembly is attached. So the dispenser head assembly, of course, has a cap over here. And on the top of the dispenser head assembly, there are the exit ports. So these are the exit ports through which the wet food that is stored inside this storage chamber, it can be dispensed out. Okay. So these exit ports are at 41, 42, and 43. Okay. So these are the main constructional features which have been claimed by the inventor in the patent application. I'll go to the next slide. This is a top view of the header assembly. So from the top, we see that there are 3 circular exit ports at 41, 42, and 43. So these are the exit ports through which the wet food that is stored inside this container is dispensed. Now, what are the dimensional features, or what are the dimensions which the inventor seems to have claimed in this particular patent? That I will just narrate. I've listed those dimensions over here. So first and foremost, the diameter of these exit ports, 41, 42, and 43. 41, 42, and 43. The diameter of these exit ports is anywhere between 1/8 of an inch and 3/16 of an inch, and preferably it is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so the diameter is 1/8 of an inch, and 2 adjacent exit ports, like 41 and 42, they are placed at a distance of less than half of the diameter. So for example, if the diameter of this exit port is preferably, as it is mentioned over here, 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so half of 1/8 is 1/16 of an inch. So therefore, the distance between the exit port 41 and 42, this distance will be about 1/16 of an inch approximately. So these are the sort of dimensional features which the inventor seems to have claimed in this granted patent. I go to the next slide where I will be explaining the working of the invention. But again, I would urge our viewers to subscribe to my channel and please comment to all my videos so that I can answer to your queries, and I'll be more than happy to answer. Moving on to the next slide. So here we see that some user is using their hands to hold this particular container. At number 8, we have the container body. At 103 and 104, we have the hands of the user. So the user is pressing the container body, which is the flexible body, with their hands. And as they are pressing, the wet food is falling out of the exit ports. It is falling out of these exit ports in the form of wet food extrudates. So here 124 and 125 are the wet food extrudates. Okay, so there's a difference between droplets and extrudates. Droplets are, say for example, if a water droplet is falling down, okay, by gravity, the droplet is in spherical shape. Whereas these are not in spherical shapes. These are, you can say, more or less a little bit cylindrical in nature. Although they are not completely cylindrical, but they have a longish sort of a contour, you can say. And therefore they are called as extrudates. So 124, 125, all these are extrudates, and they are falling in in the receiving portion of this dog bowl, which is numbered as 120. And so therefore, what is happening here is that what the inventor is actually claiming here is that because of these particular dimensions, that is number 1, the diameter of these exit ports, which is preferably at 1/8 of an inch. And the distance between two exit ports, which is at roughly at 1/16 of an inch, as we calculated some time back. So because of these dimensions, what is happening is that the extrudates that are falling from the container, from the dispenser into the dog bowl. So the dimensions of these extrudates is from 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so therefore, what the inventor is claiming here is that the dimensions of the exit ports is enabling the dimensions of these extrudates that are actually falling in the dog bowl, and that can be finally consumed by the pet. So what is the technical advantage here? The technical advantage is that, of course, the pet owner does not need to use separate utensils to scoop out the wet food, say from a tin, because the wet food is directly dispensed from this dispenser into the dog bowl. So separate utensils are not required. So that drawback is overcome. And the second thing is the use of some sharp object like a butter knife or some other sharp object to cut the wet food that is dispensed in the dog bowl, or in the bowl through which the pet would be consuming their food, the wet food. Okay, so that is also not required, because here it seems the dimension of the exit ports has been conceptualized or has been implemented in such a way such that as the wet food is getting dispensed out of this container, they are falling down in the form of small extrudates, and the size of those extrudates, because of the exit ports diameter, is between 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. And therefore, a separate cutting device or a cutting implement is not required to cut the wet food that is falling inside the bowl, which would be finally consumed by the pet. So this is today's invention, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked it. Very simple invention. Once again, I urge you, please subscribe to my channel. Please like, please share and comment to my videos, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. This is your Pacman GP.